dear family and friends. We are on the road, but we wanted to broadcast. I didn't get to broadcast last night. We were doing some heavy traveling and we weren't able to broadcast. My apologies. Usually I do Saturday night. I don't generally do Friday night, so that was expected. But last night was we were traveling and we couldn't do a broadcast. A lot is going on as always. I mean, it seems like I feel like I always say that in the beginning, but this thing in Mexico is absolutely explosive. This is further identification and um, cl- uh, clarity, but more than clarity, illumination of evil. Hey, Mommy Wolverine. It's an illumination of the bad guys. And I suspect, knowing the United States military, showing your face driving around, they have pictures of guys driving around on Ford 150s, which is the truck I own, but on Ford 150s with these big machine guns. The exposure of and they do not look like a bunch of drug thugs. These are not guys. This is an organized militia, and the people of the world have to understand what we're fighting here. The Democrats and the liberals and want to make you think that it's like, oh, just a couple of poor people and a couple of drug traffickers in Mexico. This is an organized. It's beyond a militia. It's an out and out army. They were apparently, many of them were trained in Ukraine. They're trained with drone techniques. They're armed to the nines, and they don't look like guerrilla street fighters. This is an army. The cartel is an army that controls Mexico, and the exposure of these creeps to the world hopefully will continue the process of waking up humanity to what's really going on here. And when you travel, I was traveling and I met a very nice gentleman was sitting next to me and on the plane. And I told him a little bit about things, and he was just, it was just, I don't know. Maybe you guys have more experience with people who are not in the fold, so to speak. But it's just like, oh yeah, that's not, like I told him that I lost my job because I didn't get vaxxed, and he said, "Well, you know what I did." I said, "No." He says, "Well, I got vaxxed. I didn't want to lose my job. I did just the opposite." But I mean, to say that proudly, it just shows a kind of an ignorance to the whole story here. They were trying to kill us. This wasn't like, oh well, I wanted to keep my job. You just risked your life. You don't know how this thing is going to play out down the line. These people are trying to kill us, and it's been very in the background until now. Now everything is exposed, including the cartel in Mexico and the evil ones, the black sites in Iran. It's not the Persian people. It's not the Iranians. It's the CIA. It's the FBI. It's the Illuminati. It's the same Satanists. It's the same creepazoids that get their orders from disembodied powers, from powers that don't appear the way we do. We are not fighting an enemy of flesh and blood. That's straight from Q. We are fighting municipalities. We are fighting like the shadow kingdom that rules the world. So when you see these things, I had a very, very lovely vacation, except that I was lonely as hell. before Daniela came into my life. But I had a very pleasant. I won a trip to Puerto Vallarta. I believe my pronunciation is something close, and it was a beautiful, it's a stunning place, absolutely on the Pacific. Stunning water, stunning climate, stunning people, just a beautiful. And now it's getting bombed. People are they're lobbing hand grenades into supermarkets, the cartel, because the good guys took out this El Menche or whatever, El Menche, that means the man. Mensch in Yiddish means a man, but usually a mensch means like somebody, who's an honorable person. A mensch is like a stand-up kind of guy. You don't say a mensch about a narco-terrorist criminal who cuts people's heads off, and publicly. This is the kind of creep that they killed. But at the end of the day, or another aspect, another layer that we have to consider as we see these conflicts exploding and unfolding, and the same thing is happening in Iran. The American forces have surrounded, at least on the water, and man, they're not going to fool around. Iran, admittedly, is a huge country. But the technology of warfare that our military possesses, from the reports we got in Venezuela about people getting sick and just, we're talking about a high technology. Trump hints about it. Some of his, when he talks about the military and the Navy, about increasing the battleships being 100 times more powerful than they were during World War II, or even 1,000 times. I forget the number he used, but the technology that we have now. But the layer that I wanted to mention, and we must stay conscious of the idea that we're still talking about an underground world in Iran specifically. This is an ancient underground tunnel system that probably spans across the whole Middle East. In fact, they talked about the tunnel filled with gold went from the Vatican in Rome all the way to Jerusalem. It was a 1,000-mile long tunnel, I believe that's about, and it was filled with gold. Our gold stolen from people like you and I. So this is really exciting. Things are coming to a kind of at the same time, we have the chemtrails and people are waking up. How you could not see it. You have to be oblivious. But people don't, they're not used to thinking of their government as a murderous criminal force. I mean, who could? So now we're seeing it. So I'm going to just go straight to the thought stream and just play some of these clips, because it's stunning that this is happening in real time. I doubt the mainstream media is going to cover it. In fact, we were eating out. We went out for dinner, Daniela and I, and there was a TV playing, and the TV had these young kids that their own parents had put them in cages. Now, why would the network show that? Their own parents did it. Well, what about the government doing 100 times worse routinely, making a whole business, really basing the economy of the world, certainly Bitcoin, on human trafficking and child trafficking and adrenochrome production? child services. It wasn't some like weirdo. I mean, it was weirdo guys in basements. I mean, yes, you had those. I'm sure they were mixed in. But we're talking about an organized criminal enterprise with the child services, with your governmental services. The good guys were the traffickers. This is unprecedented in terms of our understanding of things. And they say it gets a lot worse when you really study this. There are people now saying on X, don't be strolling down any more rabbit holes. You'll never be the same. I don't know. I'll never be the same. But the thing that we must remember is that this all, like they're saying, Iran is completely, there's a complete underground network with probably with advanced technology, as in Mexico, as in the United States, as everywhere. There are underground cities that these creepazoids build with our tax money. Go pay your taxes in good conscience, but feel, hey man, I got to pay my taxes. Really? You want them to spend a few more trillion building underground cities that you'll never get to go to? You'll never get an invite. In fact, they're trying to wipe you out with the chemtrails, so you won't even be alive. Okay, before I go to the thought stream, let me just remind everyone of what we discovered. This is just a little, just us, and this is shameless promotion in a sense, but I think it becomes kind of obvious that this may be a protection from the chemtrails, and that is, obviously the LifeWave patches. This may be a way to save yourself, because we had this friend who lives near us who has a friend who was taking samples, who was pricking her finger and looking at her blood under the microscope. And what she saw was horrifying. And she attributed it to the chemtrails. Let me just, I'm just showing this, and I have many more pictures. These are just a few of them. But this is what my friend's blood looked like, and she blamed it on the chemtrails. Look at the color, look at the clotting, right? That's just one picture. Let me show you another one. This with the fibrous things. This was her blood, and she attributed it to the chemtrails that were around her. Then she called me like about a week ago. This was after after patching for just 2 weeks. She was taking X39, glutathione, the master antioxidant, Eon, right? Eon reduces inflammation. And then she calls me. She says, I just want to thank you. I'm so grateful because I took another sample of my blood and now this is what it looks like. Right? She said, I can't thank you enough. It's miraculous. And I assume it's only going to get better for her. Here's another clip of the after effects of, that was the one I shared. Another quick picture of after she started with the patching. Right? There's still a little bit of clotting. Yes, that's what Norman picked up, but it's 1,000% better. Look at the color. Look at the blood cells are moving much more freely. This is a result of she said she just took the patches for like 2 weeks, and she called us to thank us. So if you haven't tried the patches, I invite you to try them. This may be the way to survive this storm, this chemtrail infestation, this attack on humanity. And you can call or text Dr. Stacy. You can send her an email. You could sign up directly on my what a website. I would suggest that instead of pressing join, if you go to the website, press yes, no, no. Instead of pressing shop, press join, and join with a core pack or better, and then you'll become a brand partner. That's how to do it. And it's good to have a core pack. It's good to have a bunch of patches to try. We've been traveling, man, and I'm telling you, the patches are a lifesaver. They keep us going. I am not I am emotionally it's very difficult for me to travel. I don't like to be away from my mountaintop. I just feel home. I feel safe there. I feel engaged. I feel like the but when I'm dealing with traveling and seeing hundreds of people, I go into a kind of a I consider myself a bit of an empath. So I mean, I pick up on so much stuff. I can't really function, and I don't even try. I go into a kind of like a survival mode. I just try to like keep myself from going off. Anyway, I invite you to try the patches. I think it's effective. It seems to have an effectiveness against the chemtrail thing. The glutathione is a master antioxidant. The patch helps produce your own glutathione. It doesn't add anything to your body. These are non-transdermal, meaning these patches do not put anything in your body. They simply reflect your own light back into your body. X39 stimulates stem cell production, your own stem cells, not like you're getting shot up with stem cells that only have a very short half-life, or glutathione. Your body is producing it itself. And the Eon is, they call it the happy patch. It just reduces inflammation, both mental and physical inflammation. So if you order tonight is the last night of the sale. You can get two sleeves of X39, which is each sleeve is a month's supply, and they'll throw in a free sleeve of X49. That's just to tonight. I'm sorry I didn't broadcast yesterday to remind you, but I think it probably goes till midnight. So you could order, just look under specials on the website. If you go to my website, I don't think Dr. Stacy's probably up right now. I mean, she might be, but I think it's worth. I just know for me. I mean, for years I was just like, do I really have to buy patches? I mean, we just don't have the money. We don't have grocery money. But now it's just the opposite. It's up there with grocery money, because think of how much you waste on health insurance. This is real health insurance because it keeps you healthy until the med beds come in. I mean, I think the med beds will come in. I don't know when. Things are rolling out kind of at a different tempo than I would have expected, or that any of us would have expected. We've all been waiting for years for things to really rock. Who did you rob last week? Another week? Oh, it's Chucky's back. Hey, Chucky, you couldn't find anybody else to bother. Well, I love this. I love that. Wow, Chucky. Yeah, great. Yeah. Yes, we want to block Chucky. Yeah, sure, Chucky. Thanks, Chucky, for being so obnoxious. Yeah. What do you do, Chucky? This is the typical the parasites, man. They always want to blame things on us that they do. That's their thing. Tunnels are Tartarian. I don't think tunnels are Tartarian. I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think that. I think they are. I think they're built by more. I don't think so. I mean, they could have been Tartarian in that, you're right, with the mud floods. It could have been a layer of civilization that got buried. But I think these tunnels are much more intentional, and they're used to smuggle children seamlessly underground on lev trains that cruise at the speed of sound underground. They have these high technology kind of hovercraft on these train systems where they can whisk a kid from Haiti to Ukraine in probably a matter of 10, 20 minutes. I think, well, I mean, that's what it seems like to me that, and we're hearing more and more of this information about this hybridization. Certainly, the royal families, the Epstein clowns, the senators and the congressmen, most of them are hybrids or clones or guys with masks. But there are a lot of hybrids that go back as far as we know in the history that we've been given. It goes back to Cain, that the possibly that there were some DNA experiments being conducted on Eve. I saw a beautiful, by the way, beautiful post from Sirius, I think it's Sirius B, about the resiliency and the brilliance and the greatness of our species. So anyway, reach out. I invite you to reach out. Try the patches. If you're worried about chemtrails, man, it's not going to hurt you. There are no side effects. But yeah, Chucky, and his friends, they don't like me to make a living. Either does YouTube, either does the Department of Education. I've been taken down by the best of them. So it's a wonder that I'm still able to eke out a living now. It's wondrous how that all happened. It was just Dr. Stacy and I we met kind of in a very rapid, offhanded way. It was just, I was really focused on another network marketing platform. And I just happened she just came into my thought stream. She says, "Why don't you sign up with LifeWave?" And I was like, "Okay." And for years, really for a couple of years, I was just like, "Yeah, I'll take the patches." And then I started putting it together. It's like, I'm not napping. I'm walking, I can balance on one foot. I still have brown hair in my 70s, some brown hair, not in my beard, but and I do work hard. I physically work hard. Anyway, so that's that. Let's go to the thought stream, because I think it's are you managing are you messaging me privately? Student of the trees? I don't think so. I don't remember messaging him privately. It could be an imposter. I don't know. I don't know if the tunnels, I would imagine there would be some underground structure that is Tartarian, but I think a lot of this is really demonic. Then again, they're talking, I saw this great film about the tunnels around the Grand Canyon. Why are they keeping us from seeing it? Because it would totally destroy the history that they've given to us, that they've made up. The man I was flying next to, he studied history, and he was like, I said, check out Tartaria, and he was open to it. He had never heard of it. I remember studying history in junior high school, and possibly a bit in high school, and it just seemed a little unbelievable. This queen came, and then this queen king, and it just seemed a little bit too pat to be believed. But it wasn't engaging anyway. The reptiles, yeah, the reptile. Well, apparently the reptilians needed to commingle with our DNA because they were losing it in some respect. We'll find all this out soon, I believe. Anyway, let's go to the thought stream. I'll take this off, but I do invite you to call Dr. Stacy or text her, and if you order tonight, I think probably till midnight, you can get a free sleeve of X49, which I put on now every day. It's good for your muscles. X39 stem cell, X49 is a sister stem cell that helps with your physical with your musculature. Thanks, Julia. Yeah, message me. I don't know. I might be. If I do run across somebody, usually Daniela tells me somebody's messaging you. I don't. I'm. I'm. It takes all I can do to just remember to eat once in a while and take a shower. Daniela even has to tell me. She tells me almost every day now. Every day she says you take a shower. It's like you'll feel better. Like, okay. But it wouldn't occur to me on my own. I'm not smart enough to remember that kind of stuff. But okay, so if you're messaging me and I don't respond, it's not that I'm like dissing you. It's just that I just don't even know. I mean, but if you really want to message me and you want to communicate one to one, I don't have a problem with that. Just be persistent, and eventually on some platform or email or something, you'll get through, and I'll see it, and I'll respond. I love communicating with you guys. Okay, so let's go to the thought stream. I'm going to take this off. Thank you for Chucky. Thank you for remembering me. I don't know where trolls go in the off season. You're probably vacationing in Florida. I don't know. It's winter time. Okay. So let's go back to the chats, and I'm going to go now to the thought stream because this is so happening. It's so kinetic. The war is just it now. Has this already happened? There's a strong possibility that this has already happened, but it seems to me the way it's being reported by these brilliant civilian journalists, they're sending videos from Puerto Vallarta, and they're beautiful, but there's an ongoing war. And they've stirred up the sleeping demon called the narco terrorist cartel, and they're not just a bunch of lazy old potheads sitting in the mountains of Mexico. These are organized armies. So people have to look at this a little differently than I think than we're used to. Okay, so let's go to the thought stream here. I'm going to go to the general thought stream just because it's ongoing and it's really exciting. Let's go. Okay, so cartel gang members now burning down banks in Mexico. This is really ongoing. Breaking. The beast is loose. War drums beating louder. Let's see if I can make this a little bigger. Yeah. War drums beating louder. The world's most lethal supercarrier. Oh, now they're talking about in the Middle East. Just blasted through the Strait of Gibraltar and stormed into the Mediterranean. This is no drill. Ford is now merging with USS Abraham Lincoln, 2 carrier strike groups, thousands of battle-hardened sailors, swarms of 5th-generation stealth fighters, enough destructive power to erase targets from the map overnight. Iran's nuclear talks are crumbling. Tehran stonewalls. Trump's clock is running out, 2 to 3 days max before all options go live. America just rolled its crown jewels right into Iran's doorstep. Message received or ignored. Time almost up. The floating fortress is in position. Pray they blink first. When the U.S. moves monsters like this, it's not a vacation. It's a countdown to hell if they don't back down. Amazing. Discombobulate them. Oh, this is the kind of weaponry. I guess, can I play this? I can't play it unless I go back. But they use sound weapons now. Update. War. CIA whistleblower John Kirkhow says a White House source told him that President Trump has decided to launch strikes on Iran as early as Monday. Now, while they're putting all this out, meanwhile, things are happening in Mexico. After the U.S. eliminated a top cartel member in Mexico focus called El Menchi, Jalisco New Generation Cartel CJNG, has retaliated by storming the Guadalajara airport with armed gunmen. They are now taking Americans hostage at nearby highways and hotels. This is no joke. The Mexican cartels are the foot soldiers for the satanic baby eating pedophiles. President Trump has been eradicating them since his first term. This had to happen before there could be justice for the bigger fish. The more you know. If the US strikes Iran, you have about 48 hours before sleeper cells activate across major cities. Okay, that's they've been telling us for years. So we will see. Bill Gates is secretly building an artificial sun. Okay, I can't. I don't want to go there. Reports say a passenger plane has been set afire in Mexico. I'm not surprised. The image of a burning plane is AI generated and false. This is coming. Puerto Vallarta's south end is now swarming with Mexican army forces, armored units pushing in while a Black Hawk helicopter circles above as if tracking targets. So a lot's going on. Breaking: Mexican cartels are now attacking civilian buildings in Mexico after they killed El Menche. Senator Moreno is publicly calling for Mexico to reach out. U.S. border right now. This is the Mexico side in Reynosa, very close to McAllen, Texas. So it's spilling over everywhere. The real footage from Miami, 2024. Oh, that could have been the was that was the UFO thing, possibly. Okay, let's look at this. CJNG cartel members have launched mass attacks across Mexico. All right, so they're everywhere. They have members in every U.S. state. We already see the damage they are inflicting in Mexico, killing federales, guardsmen, and police. This is going to spill over the border. Border Patrol, ICE, U.S. federal buildings could all be targets. On the topic of El Mencho was just the royal figurehead for CJNG. It was already an open secret he didn't run anything anymore because he was very old and living in retirement. But he was still widely beloved in our group, to the point that CJNG would kill anyone mocking or joking about him online as a rule. So the US and Mexico killing him only accomplished pissing us off into full insurgency mode. So yeah, Mexican Civil War now considering we're already seizing everything in Jalisco. And yes, CJNG will 100% be doing massive terrorism operations on US soil because that's how we operate. If you live in any US state bordering Mexico, you will have us and our allies doing large-scale acts of terrorism in your state. That's just a guarantee. So these guys are serious. And this is this $15 million reward for El Mencho. Jeez. Apparently, narcos are excavating highways now. They're taking the blockade to the next level. So this is serious war. USS General Gerald R. Ford has arrived in Haifa, Israel. Me trying to explain how every conspiracy theory is connected in one text. Intel and special warfare patrols picking up on Texas coast. The tourism town of Puerto Vallarta in Mexico is up in smoke right now as cartels wreak havoc on the area. Thousands of American tourists are there at any given time. Pray for their safety tonight. Here's a delta to February 15th. If attempts be carried out in an attempt to change narrative Yes. So Mexico, due to an ongoing security operations and related road blockages and criminal activity, U.S. citizens in the following locations should be careful: Puerto Vallarta, Chapala, Guadalajara. Okay, so look who it is. The U.S. military spraying us under the disguise of weather tracking. This is this is just unbelievable. Puerto Vallarta is a war zone. Many Canadians and tourists are trapped in their resorts and villas as the cartel and security forces battle on the streets. Cartel set a grocery store on fire. Schools in Mexico have been closed. Vehicles and businesses set on fire in major Mexican tourist destinations: Cancun, Playa de Carmen, Tulum, and Cozumel after El Mencho was killed. Yeah, it's unbelievable. Rigged for red. March 9th, 2026. All right, that could be a reference to the economy breaking. Italy has asked the citizens to leave Iran. U.S. ranchers have raised $300 million to build their own meat processing plant, confronting the powerful that's amazing, who control U.S. beef. I know some boys who could take care of this Mexican cartel problem in about 3 days. But here's the deal: whoever we liberate, we keep. Interesting. Pressure doesn't destroy the real ones, it reveals them. This isn't the collapse, it's the exposure. I love that. The smoking gun is out. The leaked 1985 IRS letter confirms that patriots have been saying for years, which is that the IRS is a phony operation and taxes are being collected illegally. Here's this plane. We occasionally see these planes in our area. Mexico's Senate approved the deployment of U.S. Navy SEALs to train Mexican Marine infantry in counter cartel operations. While everyone had attention on Iran and other areas, they were planning today's events. All right, so I'm going to, this is the Mexico is on fire right now with a full-scale war spreading across Mexico, including on the border, as cartel forces destroy everything. Mexican president has the goal to post on X that Mexico is mostly peaceful right now and everything is calm. Is she delusional, or is she owned by the cartel? This is interesting. Drip, 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 flood. This is all to prepare American psyche for the devastation. It's going to fall on us from the exposure of the Satanist machine. This is a South Carolina magistrate judge, James B. Gosnell Jr., charged with 6 federal charges involving hundreds of videos and images of minors, including infants and toddlers, engaged in disturbing sex acts. Okay, so that's part of all of this. The Mexican military may have unleashed the Mexican military have unleashed the Ford 150s. It's getting real. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Okay, so remember, Democrats have been fighting ruthlessly for years to bring these cartel terrorists into our country and keep them here. This is exactly why ICE's mission is so freaking essential. God bless ICE and the Border Patrol. All right, well, let's go back to here. So things are definitely heating up. The storm is coming. XRP. I just wanted to mention XRP and how I think this fits in. XRP is down a bit. Just my own personal advice. First of all, never ever contact anyone who says they want that it's me or anybody else who wants to do a crypto deal with you. Do not fall for it. If it's if somebody says it's Coinbase and we found a security breach, that's a scammer. Do not answer them. If it's somebody who says, you like they scam me because well, I don't want to go into it, but anyway, they scam me by scaring me about my XRP. This was back in the day. But here's the deal with XRP, with XLM, with HBAR, with Quant, with Algorand, with XTC, with IOTA, with a handful of other crypto coins, the ISO 222 coins. If it goes down to, went down to $1.36 XRP, do not sell. If you can, I am not in a position right now to buy more, but for years, every time XRP went down, I would buy some more, or XLM, or any of the ISO 222 coins that I could get my hands on. Now, back in the day, you couldn't buy all those things on Coinbase, and being a citizen or having, being a resident of New York City made it impossible for me to buy cryptos. The only place I could really trade was Coinbase. I couldn't get it, and I would recommend people to get an Uphold account. I think it's more, you could trust Uphold better. Uphold didn't throw XRP under the bus. What's this? We got another troll. Okay, these are pretty easy to handle. Okay, so yeah. Daniela is ready to dump you. This is Chucky. He's got a couple of channels. Good, Chucky, man. You're moving up in the world. I see that. I love that. He's really got a lot going for him, Chucky's, Hello out there. Yeah. So yeah, great evening. Great to see everybody from Kentucky. We got Golden Arrow, and XRP is giving opportunity. Yeah. So do not sell, in my opinion, do not sell your XRP. Buy some more. That's how people have accumulated. I mean, I had a lot of XRP. I lost it all stupidly, but hopefully I'll get it back. Maybe it'll be brought back to me, because everything's on the blockchain. They know exactly who took it. And it's probably, who knows? Probably the cartel. Who knows? But anyway, so we are here. Oh, and there was some posts. I didn't go into this, but there was some posts from Elon that was saying you don't have to worry so much about investing. And I'm kind of rethinking the idea that we have this idea that every time silver goes down or gold goes down or whatever it is, we buy some more. And that's a great philosophy. And I've been saying for a long time that it gives you a kind of a power. It gives you the feeling that you are in control and that you're part of the system. And I think there was somebody, I forget which member of Trump's cabinet came out and said that regular people will be investors in the future. This whole thing about only the rich get richer, it's not going to happen. But however, in the long run, we're not going to need the money. The money is not going to be important. What is important, and I'm going to do a little more digging here, just because there's some brilliant posts. Let's see if we can find some of these. Okay, I get a lot from the war. Mexican narco cartels have declared war, both on Mexico and the U.S. Governments following the death of their top leader. So all Americans in Mexico, these are some of their, these are serious military people. But I wanted to share, looks like the Mexican military, right? That's the cartel. This is not the Mexican military. This is the cartel. They are an army. Okay, besides all this, Puerto Vallarta, President Trump just dispatched 6 Black Hawks to 6 states in Mexico. So this is not going away soon. But I wanted to show, the shift from survival to creation is the most significant psychological leap in human history. In survival mode, the brain is locked in fear. In creation mode, the brain is open to inspiration. We are moving into an era where every human will have the time and resources to create. Yeah, buy the dip if you can. You could be a whale. If it goes cheap enough, you could buy a bunch of it. That's what back in the day. That's how XLM was selling for 8 cents for years. So it was easy to accumulate a fair amount of it. But this idea that we are going to be moving from fear-based people into creation-based beings are visiting us from other dimensions confirms an FBI document. A few years ago, the FBI document revealed the existence of extraterrestrial dimensional creatures or coming from a different dimension has been revealed or desecrated with this document. So this is coming out. Mexico just killed the most wanted drug lord on earth. It was never supposed to happen this way. This morning, mountains of Tapalpa, Jalisco, Mexican Army Special Forces, backed by U.S. intelligence, ended a decade-long manhunt for El Mencho. In the Sirius system, these are great concepts. The concept of work does not exist in the way humans understand it. Activity is always in alignment with one's sole purpose and thus feels like play. This is the state of flow that is becoming available on Earth. When you stop trying to earn a living and just create, that's what happens to me when I'm up on my land and I have a day where I can just build. It is play. It is the greatest fun I can have. And that is where we are going, into creation, into being creators, not being scared little puppets of these criminal transnational gangs. So Trump faked out the transnational crime syndicate by making them think he was about to attack Iran. And then he helped the Mexican government take out the cartel guy. Interesting. Luciferian billionaire David Rockefeller states that controlling the world's population growth is the elite's top agenda. He thinks him and his rich Illuminati blood cult buddies have the right to mass murder most of the population to have the planet to themselves. These are the reptilians. The downfall of the cabal, the agenda to remove Donald Trump. The 13 bloodlines, the Zionist overlords, the Khazarian mafia, and the Freemason puppeteers are twitching in their shadowed lairs because the impending Iran strike under Trump command will shatter their proxy empire. Just like they destroyed the as far as I know, the underground child trafficking network in Ukraine that was conducted in these ancient tunnels, so too in Iran. The same thing is going down. A Puerto Vallarta, the more you know. What if the entire planet is an adrenochrome farm for another species, harvesting an adrenochrome crop from us to increase their lifespan? Would you know? This is a very important post. Time to wake up. They protect themselves. Okay, well, let's just watch this video because I don't know. Maybe not. CSI. This is a 3-minute clip. I'm just going to play. Let me just play the beginning of this clip because I think it's very it's very thought produced. It evokes. It's a kind of a slightly different way of looking at these. It's a direct way. Okay, let me see if I can do that. That was on this clip. Yeah. Okay, let's go to this.
And Draco have been mating with humans to form a super race that includes 43 U.S. presidents, most members of Congress, and the entire British royal family? Do you believe that intelligent life exists on other planets?
Adam and Eve were not only the first humans on the Earth, they were bait for intelligent life forms elsewhere in the cosmos, refugees from planets that could no longer sustain them. But why Earth? Deoxyribonucleic acid, DNA, the blueprint of human life, is the key to their survival. Without it, they will perish. The first encounters between humans and extraterrestrials took place over 100,000 years ago in Atlantis, and in its sister civilization in the Pacific, Lemuria. Ancient civilizations on every continent have recorded evidence of these encounters. These visitors were highly advanced and did not appear in human form. Now, the Mayans called them Chanes, people of the serpents, and in Hebrew legend, the snake represented knowledge. Of course it did. It was not human, not of this earth. History is replete with stories of the heroic destruction of serpents. Perseus and Medusa, St. George and the Dragon, St. Patrick and the Snakes of Ireland. But these are not merely legends, and the natural form of these invaders is not human. They are described in ancient accounts as serpents and dragons, and man's weapon against them is the sword.
We are victims, and no one is listening to us. We're not crazy. And if you look at who's had contact, we're airline pilots, professionals, teachers, scientists. I don't know how to get the truth out, but we have to.
History is replete with stories of the heroic destruction of serpents. Perseus and Medusa, St. George and the Dragon, St. Patrick and the Snakes of Ireland. These are not merely legends. These are accounts of battles for the survival of the human race. A battle we will lose unless we stop killing one another and focus on the real enemies. They are among us.
Okay, so that is really interesting information. The idea that we are not fighting each other. We are fighting the reptilians that have infiltrated into our society by using our genetics, by mating with our women and this kind of thing. They talk about it in the Old Testament. Yeah, Prince Andrew's been arrested for misconduct in office, and hearing other royals will be arrested soon, right? So there's a tremendous tuning in from UK. Thanks, AJ Murphy. I appreciate it, man. It's unbelievable that I get to hang out with such distinguished people. And then Chucky comes along, We'll all be wealthy soon. Yeah, I think so. I don't think wealth is going to be really the issue here. The issue is finding your love, finding what you love to do, because that's what separates us from the rest, from my understanding, from the rest of the species. We have a kind of determined ability to create. This is an unstoppable. I know, for me, it's just like, I got 6 fruit trees. I want to have another 6. I want to have nut trees, fruit and nut trees, then I want to have, it's unlimited. I have a huge piece of property, and the idea of using a well now that I have a well, I mean, this is where our minds should be, in my opinion. I mean, I'm just saying that this is where my joy lies, and I'm sure everybody has this. I know for Daniela, it's researching about health things. She made me run out. I mean, we ran out and we bought cotton towels because where we're at right now, they only had hybrid. They had synthetic towels. That's how seriously she takes it, and that's her joy. And everybody has this element of creative joy that is them, and it's not like it doesn't feel like work when you're doing it. It feels like you're playing like a little kid. I mean, I feel like I'm digging sand tunnels on the beach. Every time I pick up my my little tool belt out in the frontier and start framing my second story and fixing, I just changed the inner tube on my hand truck. To be able to do that, it's a little thing, but I didn't know how to change an inner tube, even though I was a bicyclist. I never changed my own inner tube. Now it's like, hey man, I want a hand truck. I don't want to be, carrying all these things across the property. But it's just, we live in a creative universe, and you're creators, and they've kept us from our true potential by keeping us checked in fear, so we couldn't really function. But that's all coming to an end, and we're coming to the end of this. So let's play a tune together, and let's see if we can get this. I'm sorry, I can't do it that way. I have to do it like this. But this is where it's at, man. We're
paying down my bills. One flat tire and the whole thing went to hell. Credit cards for groceries, I'm deep in debt again. It's time to split this scene, walk with you, my friend. Leaving the matrix, heading for the promised land. They stole our money, but they couldn't stop the plan. Let's go together, playing with the band. Leaving the matrix, we're heading for the promised land. Stopped paying taxes, your insurance I don't need. The medicines are killing us, hospitals grow like weeds. Moving to paradise, I don't need no gassy cars. Fake news, endless wars, a satanic legal bar. Leaving the matrix, heading for the promised land. They stole our money, but they couldn't stop the plan. Let's go together, playing with the band. Leaving the matrix, heading for the promised land. My friends all tell me lost control. Left my wife and job just to run down rabbit holes. But I can tell you one thing about my fall. Where we go one, we go all. Leaving the matrix, heading for the promised land. They stole our money, but they couldn't stop the plan. Let's go together, playing with the band. Leaving the matrix, heading for the promised land. Leaving the matrix, we're heading for the promised land.
Yeah, so you're right. It's the American dream, but it's more than the American dream. It's the humanitarian's dream. We are natural creators. We are. I just remember when I was a kid, the best thing that I ever did or ever could do was to hang out with somebody who also had a creative mind, and we would tell each other these incredible stories. We would make up, and this is what humanity is about. This is what we are doing. This is what we're doing right now. We're telling ourselves a new story. We're changing our narrative from a fear-based, oh my gosh, I didn't pay my taxes, I didn't, whatever, all this nonsense, to I want to do what I love to do, whether it's painting pictures or making gardens or whatever it is, building a house or researching about health products. It's the joy of the creative process, and it's because you are force itself. You are the force. You are Neo. You are the one. And they've kept this from us. They've kept us under wraps, under this fear. But we are breaking loose now. And all this turmoil on the earth, instead of making it like the bad guys think there's going to be a lot of turmoil, and then we're going to just surrender. Okay, man, you guys take over again, and we'll be enslaved for another 1,000 years. That ain't happening. We are going to take this chaos, and we are going to we're going to watch it, and the white hats are going to make short work of these people. It's a big job. Can you imagine taking down this vicious narco cartel that's aligned with every aspect that runs Washington? I mean, they stole the election from Venezuela, among other places. These are narco terrorists who are running the world, and the Democrats, the liberals, the Satanists are okay with it, but we're not. We're going back to the Republican. Let me just, before we close out, please make sure you join the Republic. That is so important. We need to re-inhabit the Republic, republicforusa.org. Join. There's some 3 lines on the website. It'll pop up. It'll say join. Give them your name. Tell them you're volunteering. And as soon as there are enough people who have volunteered to have joined the Republic, the White Hats will step in and give us a JASARA election, which is they must announce that we have 120 days to elect real leadership. So the Republic will be the government for that 120 days. So if you volunteer now, you'll be that interim government that is so important for the success and future of the race, of our race and our planet and our future, which will be So bright. Well, we'll need glasses. I mean, I'm actually, by the way, I've been Daniela is encouraging me all the time to not wear my glasses so much, and my eyesight is getting better. I spend most of my days when I'm working, if I remember, unless I'm doing little detail work, most of it I don't need glasses, and my eyes are being strengthened, being in the sunshine. Of course, the chemtrails, but it's all good. We're heading for the promised land, and this is all direction. It's the hardening, it's the quickening. We're becoming the creators that we were meant to be, and until the creepazoids took it away from us. But yeah, so. And where we go one, we go all. Again, I just want to put a little different spin on it. That means why is the story of I hate to say it because I'm not Christian, but why is the story of Jesus so like absorbing to people in the world? Because he, according to the story, he went to that next level, just like Moses. I mean, that where you go, where one goes, if one person goes to that exalted level of understanding that everything you hear, say, think, do, everything that happens in your life is a direct personal message to you from creation. That's not my thought. That's what the Baal Shem Tov said. He says, a leaf does not go from this side to this side without you don't see that leaf going like that without it being a personal message to you, not to the world, to you, a personal message to you from creation, that you are so loved by the creation itself. You don't have to go through church. You don't have to go to synagogue. You don't have to pray 13 hours on your belly or, twist around and say the right things and have this certain mantra, and none of that. All you got to do is talk to God, man. Just talk to creation. It'll answer you. It'll tell you. All you have to do is say, hey, man, I really don't get this. What's going on? And you'll hear an answer. You just got to listen. You just got to pay attention. And like I always say, it's not that I want to talk to God. It's I want to stop talking to God because there's nothing else. What do you think comes into your mind? You think, oh, well, those are just my thoughts. No, it's the way creation communicates with you. And if you allow the fear space to dominate, that's what you'll get. But we're not going there. We're creators, and we're going to create. We're re-inhabiting the republic, and we're re-inhabiting the planet to do fun things, to live like little kids, to have exciting adventures all day long. So may force be with you. May you realize that you are the force. May source be with you. May you realize that you are source itself. It's not like God is far away, like, oh, if only he would talk to me. It's like, when does he not talk to you? What else are you getting? It's all a message from the creation. So anyway, let's get out there with a big smile on our face because it's fun, man. And rock the world.